We are live. Hi, everybody. This is Steve Sabatowski, publisher by Buzz.com. And this morning, we have Tyler Bridges from The Advocate. We're going to be talking briefly about the Louisiana legislative session. Good morning, Tyler. How are you doing today?
Good morning.
Good. Thank you so much. So we have about 7 minutes or so. Why don't you, if you don't mind, have you survived the Louisiana legislative session, special session? And you ready to go for a new one?
Yeah, because that's right. On Monday, the regular session starts, and that'll go to June 4th, it looks like.
Okay. So, if you can just kind of give us a ballpark idea in terms of what happened. It seems like the Republicans and Democrats don't trust one another.
Well, I think ultimately that's what it came down to in the State House. The climactic moment, I think, in the special session just concluded was Sunday night when the Democrats wanted to take up their bill first, which is House Bill 8, which would have limited something called excess itemized deductions. It's people who on their federal tax return itemize, and it would have taken away a tax break that really would have affected people who earn almost entirely would have affected people who earn at least $200,000 per year. And that would have raised $79 million as with this $994 million shortfall. Republicans, though, in the House insisted on taking up a sales tax bill, House Bill 23, that would have renewed 1/4 of the 1-cent sales tax increase that is expiring on June 30th. The Republican sponsor of the bill was told by Democrats and even by one Republican, hey, if you move forward with this bill, it's not going to pass. Can we do HB 8 first? And the Republican sponsor said no. And then the bill went down with only 33 votes and it needed 70. And the Republicans, I think it had just had it up to, they told me later, it kind of had it up to here, and what they felt were excessive demands by Democrats, particularly members of the Legislative Black Caucus, and that they felt like they had given enough in their negotiations. And then the Democrats, from their point of view, felt like they had to move forward with their bill first because they weren't certain that the Republicans would pass it if the Republican bill first passed. So there's clearly a lack of trust on both sides.
So after the session, Governor John Bel Edwards, he specifically blamed the speaker, and he basically said that the speaker did not fulfill his deal.
Yeah, and the governor used very harsh language in talking about Speaker Taylor Barra. In fact, I asked the governor a question, why have you chosen to speak so harshly even before? The governor has been frustrated in his dealings with the speaker, feeling like the speaker tells him one thing privately and then does something different publicly. And the governor said he was just very frustrated. So that, again, that reflects the frustration on both sides. And the Republicans, not surprisingly, and the conservatives in the House are blaming the governor. State Representative Cameron Henry, who chairs the budget writing committee, did a Facebook post in which he said that there should not have been a special session and the governor did not have a plan. So each side is blaming the other, and as the story that I wrote for The Advocate, it really kind of sounds like what's going on in Washington.
Right. And that went up just the other day. I think Monday, am I correct, or Tuesday?
I wrote that story on Monday after the special session ended, and so it was posted online Monday and in the newspaper of The Advocate on Tuesday.
Okay, we'll put a link to it. I had done an interview with Senator Appel, and he likewise said that he didn't think there was any need for a special session, that we could have waited till the end of the regular session in June. It looks like we're going to wait till May. The argument is that, hey, at that point in time, we'll have a better idea of what the budget might be, what the revenues might be.
Well, the problem with that point of view is that legislators keep looking for reasons not to take hard votes on taxes, hard votes on cuts in spending. It's always, let's put it off. Let's pass a temporary tax. We'll solve the problem down the road. That happened in 2016 when the legislature approved temporary taxes. The idea was that in 2017 they would carry out tax reform, but the House refused to do that. And the measures this year also, there was the sales tax increase was only going to be temporary. At some point, legislature really needs to make some hard decisions. And again, they keep wanting to put it off as long as they can. The problem that the administration's saying is that by waiting, they begin, parents are having to figure out whether their kids get TOPS scholarships, won't know. People who are the funding for the public-private hospitals that serve the poor, they're going to start having to send layoff notices, we're told, because they don't know whether they'll have the money that they need by July 1st, the start of the new state's fiscal year. So I guess Conrad Appel says that they can wait. Well, I guess we'll see in the coming weeks if indeed there is all sorts of problems, as the administration has been predicting by waiting.
Interesting. So we begin, like you said, on Monday, and they'll go on to, I think, mid-May or early May, and then we start the special session, which will last about a month. Am I correct about that, or roughly?
Well, right now the regular session is scheduled to end on June 4th. What the governor has asked the president of the Senate and the Speaker of the House to do is to try to wrap up the regular session about 3 weeks earlier, and that they would then go into a special session that would end around June 4th, with the idea that there would be no extra cost to the state by having an additional special session, and also get these decisions done earlier. That's the thinking right now. Of course, things can change.
So that would actually, I guess, expedite or speed up the regular session process, which takes a little while to get going.
Yeah, they do normally take a while to get going, and the key question in the regular session, because you can't raise taxes this year during the regular session, is the passage of the budget. The governor, the president, and President Ilario have both said they do not think that the legislature will pass a budget because the budget cuts would be just too deep. In fact, Taylor Barra told me and a couple other reporters on Monday, just after the special session ended, that he also did not know that there was the political will in the House to pass the budget again without the revenue that they were trying to raise in the special session. The interesting question is the conservatives who have voted no to taxes. This is an opportunity for them to craft a budget without the revenue that the governor and a lot of other Democrats and Republicans wanted. So this is an opportunity for them to show that exactly where they want to cut government.
But at least they'll have a better idea in terms of what the revenue stream might be.
I guess it'll be a little bit clearer, but I think everybody has a pretty clear idea what the broad outlines of the situation are. So again, the interesting question in the upcoming regular session is since revenue bills start in the House, and under Chairman Henry, to see what the Appropriations Committee, what cuts are they wanting to make with the shortfall that was not filled during the just completed special session.
Boy, I can tell you, and I'm sure you know it, that's going to be one heck of a conference committee and session, given the fact the focus is going to be on cuts and not knowing if there's any revenues at all to replace. Listen, I know that you have to go. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wanted to say, or have you covered?
You can ask me about my book on the governor's race.
There it is. Okay. Tell us about your book on the governor's race. Thank you so much.
It's called Long Shot. Wrote it with Jeremy Alford. Tells this behind-the-scenes story of how we ended up with the governor who's now in office, and it gives a good insight into Louisiana politics and good history, great stories, and kind of, again, it's a story where you know the outcome, but you want to turn the page to find out how it happens.
How it happened. Absolutely.